Imagine a system paralyzed by inescapable fear. The inhabitants are trapped in a dense landscape where a single totalitarian ruler controls every movement, and no one is safe from his reach. In the Pashto variation of this fable, that ruler is a massive tiger. He is a predator of pure physical dominance, hunting for his dinner day and night with total indifference to the terror he causes. He doesn't just hunt, he enforces a daily sacrifice, requiring his subjects to deliver a fresh meal directly to his den every afternoon. For the animals of the jungle, the psychological toll is total. The monkeys, pigs, and antelope live in a state of hypervigilance, knowing that any attempt to fight force with force is a mathematical impossibility. Then, a small old rabbit volunteers to take his turn as the predator's next meal. To the rest of the jungle, this appears to be a simple suicide mission. The rabbit is actually pivoting to a strategy of asymmetrical warfare. Since any physical path to survival is blocked, he is forced to find a non-physical way to dismantle a force that is 10 times his size. The rabbit strategy begins by weaponizing time. Instead of arriving at the den at the scheduled hour, he intentionally delays his approach, letting the afternoon sun drop toward the horizon. This delay triggers a physiological shift in the predator. As the hours pass, the tyrant's hunger spikes into a blinding fury, and his ability to make rational decisions begins to plummet. By the time the rabbit finally arrives, the predator is in a state of severe cognitive degradation. This creates the perfect opening for misdirection. The rabbit approaches the den with an air of deep subservience and offers a fabricated excuse for his lateness. He tells the predator that he was on his way with 5 other rabbits, but they were intercepted by a new king of the jungle, a rival who claims to be bigger and stronger than the current tyrant. This lie is engineered to ignore the predator's physical armor and strike directly at his territorial paranoia. The rabbit isn't attacking the tiger's body, he is attacking his ego. The rabbit has moved the battle into a purely psychological space. The tyrant is now defending his reputation rather than his territory, a fight his instincts never prepared him for. For the final phase of the trap, the rabbit leads the enraged beast away from his familiar territory and toward the edge of a deep stone well. The rabbit uses the physical environment to seal the delusion. He points into the shaft and claims the rival is hiding in this stone fortress below, waiting to challenge him. The well acts as a natural isolation chamber. Its steep, narrow walls are perfectly aligned to capture sound and reflect it directly back up the shaft. When the predator looks over the edge, the reflection in the water provides instant confirmation bias. Primed by rage in the rabbit's story, the tiger sees his own image and believes he is finally looking at his enemy. The enraged predator roars into the well. The stone walls immediately echo that roar back, confirming the delusion that the rival is roaring at him in defiance. The tyrant launches himself into the void to attack the illusion. He hits the cold water at the bottom, finding no solid ground and no way to escape the narrow walls. The rabbit never touched the predator. He simply provided the stage and the psychological pressure for the tyrant to destroy himself. The rabbit returns to the jungle assembly as a survivor. He removed a lethal threat without the animals needing to engage in a physical fight. In many versions of this tale, this act of strategic brilliance earns the rabbit the crown, making the physically weakest animal the new leader of the forest. This is the essence of intellectual leverage. It demonstrates how a tiny application of the right psychological force can move a massive physical obstacle. This lesson is why the story remains unchanged across centuries and cultures, appearing with the same structural beats in ancient Indian texts and Pashto folklore alike. The fable points to a universal vulnerability in human history. Tyrants and dictators often fall because they share the same blinding hubris as the tiger, the belief that their force makes them immune to the intelligence of those they rule. Ultimately, the idea of physical invincibility is an illusion. True power lies in the strategic intelligence to identify an opponent's ego and turn it into the very tool that defeats them.